What's up, guys? So you might remember from last month, the past 4-ish months, I had been doing video games monthly. And while it's a neat service for what it does, for my own reasons, I decided to no longer use that service. But I did like the idea of mystery box content. I tossed out the idea of giving April some money and having her jaunt off to the local game stores and put together her own little mystery box for me. And well, that's what we did. So this is going to be the inaugural episode of the Better Half Mystery Box. You can thank Drinking Games with Josh in the comments for coming up with that name. He threw that in the comments of the last video, and I loved it. So that is the name of this new series, the Better Half Mystery Box. So I gave her one of the photo boxes that I have for all my cables and stuff, and she actually went ahead and decorated it a bit. I'll let you kind of get a look at that. And she says she's going to do more to it in the future, but to have thrown this together as quickly as she did, I appreciate it. But this will be the same kind of vibe as my Video Games Monthly boxes. I have already looked in here because she got really excited whenever we did it and wanted to show me, and I wasn't prepped to record. So whatever, I do know what's in here already, but you guys don't, and I want to show you what she picked out for this mystery box. So let's dive right in there. Doing something like this, you can actually get good value deal. You can actually get better value than other mystery box kind of things. I am going to show you the values of these games versus how much she actually paid for it. So I gave her $60 to go and get whatever game she thought would be good. I gave her the stipulation that it needs to be at least 3, and it could be for whatever systems that I had, so long as it's either cartridges or if it's discs, I want them complete. Those were my stipulations. And she came through in spades with 5 cartridges. So we have 1 NES, 2 Super Nintendo, and 2 N64 games in here. And I think we're going to start with the NES game. And the first thing that she picked up in this box was actually Snake Rattle and Roll. I've heard of Snake Rattle and Roll before. I'd never actually played it until I got this, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. The movement in this is actually a lot of fun. This looks like a very early version of Snake Pass, if you ever played that. I need to look up a manual for this because this is a game that I don't I understand how to play, but I don't understand the goal. I don't understand what I'm trying to achieve in a level. So really nice to have a game like this in my collection, especially I haven't gotten NES games in a while, so to get some more of these is always going to be fun. Looking forward to looking up how to properly play this and to giving this a proper go. I think this is fun, and I think April would actually have a good time with this as well. Next, we're going to dive into the Super Nintendo games, and we're going to start with the game called Battle Clash. She wouldn't have known this. I didn't realize it either until I started trying to play it. That this is actually a light gun game that requires the Super Nintendo's Super Scope, which I don't have. So unfortunately, this one is not playable right now. But a Super Scope has definitely been on my list of items to get at some point, and now I actually have a reason to, so I can properly play this game. The next up on the Super Nintendo list is Big Sky Trooper. Now, this is a LucasArts game, and it feels like it's going to be a bit of a LucasArts adventure-y kind of game. I've not played a lot of just straight-up adventure games, and that is definitely what this what this kind of felt like. And I feel like this is a game where you kind of needed the manual to get started. It doesn't do a very good job of kind of giving you direction at the beginning of the game to kind of get you going. And so I feel like this was a manual. I feel like the manual is probably needed for a game like this. And so this is another one that I'm anxious to look up the manual for and to actually give it a proper go, because I got started, but I definitely didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. Next up, we are going to dive into N64 games. There are 2 of them in here. The first up is Automobili Lamborghini, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Automobili, it's ILI, so it has to be something like that. It's a pretty standard racing game fare on the N64. This definitely controls better than some of the ones I've played. I know I've mentioned before that I'm a big fan of the cruisin' games. Cruisin' USA, Cruisin' World, Cruisin' Exotica. And that's what I always compare racing games on the N64 to, either Cruisin' or Mario Kart, depending on the style of game that it's trying to be. And this is definitely in that same vein as those Cruisin' games. But it is fun. I did enjoy the time I spent with it. This would be a racing game that I would go back to play and try and get good at. And that's another N64 game for the collection. And lastly in the box, we have Battle Tanks. Now, this is a game that kind of seemed like it crashed on me when I tried to record it, not the cartridge, but the emulation. So I only got like the beginning of the story that it's trying to tell, and it's kind of wild. At least from what I saw, the CDC identifies a new virus that infects only women. The story crashed, and then I was in the apocalypse. So that just to me I got a good laugh whenever that happened, and I'm actually curious what the story they're trying to actually tell is. And if you like tank style fighting game, not like tank style shooting games, you're controlling a tank, you're going to blow up other tanks. It's actually fun. Like, I'm excited to sit down and try and work through this, especially because it doesn't feel like it's going to be a long game. This feels like a game you could actually like sit down and blast through, pun intended, in an evening, you know? So I'm looking forward to going back to this one as well, and that's another one for the collection. And I believe, let me pull up my spreadsheet. So I have my spreadsheet pulled up here, and that is 159. I have it listed out of 297 instead of 296 because I also have 40 winks in this list. So I have to remember that whenever I tell you a number. I'm at 158 of 296, which is awesome, which means I'm on my way. Pretty soon I'll be under 100 left, and that's gonna feel wild, you know? This feels like a year of N64 games for me. Like this might be, I don't think I'm gonna complete it this year, but I feel like I'm gonna get pretty damn close. I do wanna thank April for putting together her own little mystery box for me so I can keep giving you guys this kind of content. I know stuff like this is fun. I know you guys probably enjoy stuff like this too. We're gonna keep doing this probably once a month-ish kind of thing. And so I think that that's gonna be a lot of fun to have this in the video rotation, especially since I get to keep adding to my collection and I won't know what it is whenever I get it. So that's always fun. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I gave her $60 to go get games here. And the total price charting value of the games that are here, I believe we calculated it as just over $55. That's a much better ratio of cost to value that I see people get with these mystery box services. If I can just give it to her to create one, she can have fun doing it because she likes to go shop. I can have fun opening it up and sharing it with you guys. I think that that's a really good way to do something like this, you know? But that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to bringing you even more mystery box videos as the days go on. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, y'all.